Welcome to Out of Continues, episode 236. This is a weekly podcast posted up every Monday on outofcontinues.com as an MP3, or it goes up before that on youtube.com/outofcontinues as a video, as we talk about video games and related topics. For those of you that are new to the show, I am your host, Stafa, and each week I have different guest hosts with me, joining me. And this week I have my buddy Adam.
Hello.
How you doing, Adam?
I'm all right. How you doing?
Doing well. And this week's episode segments will include our main topic, which will be on PlayStation 1 games. We're going to talk about some of our favorite games, probably like our top 5 favorite in no particular order. And then we got some quick announcements. And after that, we got news, video game movie news, and some comic stuff, because that's what I'm into. But before we get into that, just a quick disclaimer that all opinions expressed on the show are of our own and not of our employers, whether past, present, or future. Hashtag hire Stoppa. So let's get going and talk about our main topic, PlayStation 1. I'm talking about the first PlayStation, not the newest PlayStation, because I don't want to confuse people with the number ordering, because apparently one, as of recent years, one means the newest. But with your Xbox One and your Battlefield 1, so I just want to clarify. We're talking about the actual first PlayStation. No? No what?
No, just no.
Okay. So anyways, the way how we usually do these top lists is we alternate each myself and my guests will list off one item and we'll just rotate. So Adam, since you're a guest, would you like to go first?
Sure. You brought the topic up, trying to think of something to talk about, and I liked this one, and then I got to thinking about it, and I'm like, man, I played a lot of games in my day.
Mm-hmm.
And PlayStation 1 came out how long ago?
It came out a good minute ago.
Yeah. And my memory's not exactly the greatest. So I'm like, man, I played a lot of games on there, but I couldn't remember. So I had to go through and kind of jog my memory. And
Yeah.
my list is a little different than I would guess most people's.
Because it's full of wrestling games?
No, I didn't like the wrestling games on PlayStation. 64 had better wrestling games.
64 had the better ones.
Yes, they did. The PlayStation 1s were garbage. But no, like my list is stuff that I played, but it might have been like the first in the series, and then it led me to later on in the series games on different platforms. You know what I mean? Like the first in the series, and then series that I really like. Yeah, sure, why not? That's a word. But the first one on my list, I didn't like playing them, but I loved watching people play them. And my favorite one to watch was Resident Evil 2.
Okay.
I absolutely loved watching people play it. Hated the controls.
Battle tank controls.
I can't stand them.
Retro.
But really loved watching play them because the story in them and just the setting and everything. I really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
But couldn't play it. Dude, I couldn't even Game Shark my way through it. Because I hated the controls that much.
Yeah. Like I only played the first one. Well, I played part of the second one, but I didn't beat it. I played the first one multiple times, and I was playing it wrong. And yeah, there are wrong ways to play a game.
Right.
And I was playing it wrong. Like I was trying to play it like an action game. And that's the only reason why I played it. It's like, oh, I'm gonna, beat the game and get the Magnum with unlimited ammo so I can like blow up zombie heads, or I'm going to get the grenade launcher with unlimited ammo, so I can,
Right.
or the rocket launcher with unlimited ammo.
Yeah.
Like I basically would rush through the game just so I can get like the powerful weapon with unlimited ammo, just so I can try to play with like an action game.
Right.
But it's not an action game.
No.
So yeah, and then it wasn't until like the second game that I realized I just don't really like horror games. Like I remember like there was a bunch of hype around the Resident Evil games back then. Like
Oh yeah.
a lot of my friends would talk about them, and there was just so much hype around them, and it's like you gotta play this game. And like when I played it, I was so hyped. I was like, oh, this is amazing, even though I didn't really like it. That's
Right. I remember I had traded stuff in to GameStop, or it might have been EB. It wasn't FuncoLand.
Mm-hmm.
But I had traded stuff in and bought my brother, Kenny.
Mm-hmm.
I had bought Resident Evil 2 for him to play and for me to watch after trading my own games in.
Nice.
Because I loved watching somebody play those games, but I like I said, I could not even cheat my way through those games.
So were you like a backseat player? Were you telling them to do stuff, or just watching them?
Just watching them. I remember one time it was Resident Evil 2. My buddy Ryan, you know him. Other people don't. He was playing it, and when in Resident Evil 2, dog jumps through the interrogation window, scared the crap out of him. He threw my controller. He screamed like a girl, and I still laugh at him to this day about it.
Nice.
As a matter of fact, I think when I'm done with the podcast, I'm going to call him, and I'm going to tell him that I called him out on the podcast.
Nice.
But yeah, man, I loved watching people play them. I didn't like Resident Evil playing them until 5. That was the only one that I really ever liked playing.
Okay. So on my list, I want to mention Twisted Metal 2.
Oh, chump.
Like Twisted Metal 2 Twisted Metal is awesome, but Twisted Metal 2 was like it basically made the first one obsolete because it had every single character from the first one except for the semi truck. Can't remember what.
Calypso? No.
No,
that was the main bad guy.
It just didn't have Sweet Tooth was the boss of the first one, from what I remember. I think. No, I can't remember. But either way, like it had all the characters except for the semi truck, and so it had all basically all the characters. Just no one really cared about the semi truck anyways because it was too slow, and so it had all the characters plus more characters. I mean, Axel was awesome.
Right.
It's like a crazy dude that's strapped onto 2 giant wheels. So. The cutscenes were nuts.
Right.
Even though they were like basically just moving pictures, they were still
awesome.
Yeah, it was still really crazy. Like I remember playing through the game with every single character, even the ones I did not like, just so I can see the endings.
Yeah, those games were awesome, man. Especially 2. I mean, I played 3. I don't think I ever played 4. But
3 and 4 were just bad.
2 was just, you're a chump. You took one off my list.
So like 3 and 4, for people who did not play PlayStation games, for those that are too young to know, like there's 4 Twisted Metal games on No, actually there's 5. There's 5 Twisted Metal games on PlayStation 1. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then there's Small Brawl.
No, yeah.
Which was like RC cars, and that one came out like after Twisted Metal Black for PlayStation 2, which is really weird.
Right.
Yeah. So, anyways, no one cares about Small Brawl. 1 and 2 were awesome. 3 and 4, the reason why those were bad is because they were made by a completely different studio, and they tried to make the physics more realistic. So you could not turn while standing still. You had to drive and turn at the same time because it was
Right.
trying to be realistic, which,
Those games are arcadey. They're not
yeah,
supposed to be realistic. Those games are
yeah,
nuts. They're awesome.
yeah. So like you want to, being able to turn while standing still was something that needed to be done so that you can like aim at your opponents and shoot at them.
Right.
And basically the reason why car combat games were so popular back then was because like you can't really have a good first-person shooter with uh, gamepad controls back then, or just shooters in general. Like you can't have a third-person shooter, a first-person shooter. Like I mean, the Doom was on consoles and it wasn't that great,
Right.
but like if let's say instead of playing a person, you're playing a car, it just makes it work.
Yeah.
That's why car combat games were so popular back then.
Yeah. I mean,
Nowadays, you have two joysticks, two analog sticks um, on your
controller.
gamepad, so now you can play first-person shooters better or third-person shooters.
Right. Well, I mean, and a lot of the younger people, they might not realize that the PlayStation controller wasn't always like it is now, basically. Because I mean,
Yeah,
after they added the DualShock, you know, on the PlayStation One controller, man, those original PlayStation One controllers look weird.
yeah,
You look at them,
no,
now, you're like, whoa.
yeah, no
How
analog
did
sticks on them at all.
how did
Even
I play
even
games with that?
even after they added the DualShock, it was it was still really weird because you could not use the analog sticks and the D-pad at the same time.
Right.
Like there was a button in the center that would
Yeah.
switch between the two.
Yeah, I think I've still got original DualShocks in here somewhere in one of my totes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's man, those original PlayStation controllers. Looking at them, man, you're like, whoa, that's a funky looking thing.
mhm.
But
But yeah,
yeah,
I mean, car combat games were a thing back then, and Twisted Metal 2 was.
Vigilante 8, man. There was a bunch of ripoffs, man.
I, if someone wants to make an argument for Rogue Trip, I'll I'll go with it. I'll be like, okay, sure, you like Rogue Trip because Rogue Trip, I'm pretty sure it had like some of the developers that made Twisted Metal 2,
Mm,
and also it had like a unique thing going on with like trying to pick up the people and drive them
yeah,
around to
yeah,
gain money.
yeah. I mean, it was weird. I don't know. It's like Twisted Metals meets Crazy Taxi.
Kind of, yeah. But I mean, like, sure, Rogue Trip, fine, but like other than that, it's Twisted Metal 2 all the way.
Oh yeah.
All right, on your list.
The next one on my list is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2.
Yep.
Those original Tony Hawk, man. I've played 5, right? That's the newest one. It's soulless, you know.
Hmm.
It those original games, they just there was something to them, something special.
You know how
You know?
soulless Tony Hawk 5 is. They released the game on disc. You could buy a retail version of the game, and it doesn't actually have the game on it. Like
Yep,
it says you're downloading a patch, but you're actually downloading the entire game.
that's great.
Yeah, so in the future when these servers are down, you pop that disc in, and if you don't have the
Game
the
already
update
installed
installed,
on it.
yeah, then like you only have you're getting less game than on the demo.
Oh wow,
Like it's just like
that's
the first area and that's it.
huh. That is
Yeah.
extremely soulless.
Yeah, that's how soulless the game is, because like they rushed it out to try to like keep their Tony Hawk license.
Even though that game basically murdered it. I mean, what was the last good Tony Hawk? Underground?
I think my brother liked Underground too.
Oh, okay, Underground 2. That came out, what, a year later? Because it's Activision.
Yep.
But, I mean, and there have been probably, what, 5 since then?
Something.
Even
I don't know.
Even the reboot, the HDified Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Tony Hawk HD, yeah.
It was, it's not the same. Those games were special back then. And
just to like mention real quick, like Tony Hawk, like those first few games, like they were so fun that people who did not even care about skating at all, skateboarding, people who did not even care about skateboarding, like playing those games because they were just fun games.
the only time I've ever been on a skateboard is when my foot got smashed in a machine. I sat down on a skateboard and rolled my way down to the door so I could get up and get in the truck to go to the hospital. That's the only time I've ever been on a skateboard. True story.
But yeah, I mean, you get what I mean, right?
Yeah. I ain't ever skateboarding. Have you seen me? I'll break one in half.
I've never seen you in my life. Well, yeah, I mean, like, it got people interested in skateboarding.
Right. They were fun.
If not interested, at least they enjoyed playing the game.
Right. I mean, those games were awesome. Just the ridiculousness of those games. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like with Moon, you get later in the game where you beat the campaign, and you're like, okay, I want some moon physics.
Mm-hmm.
Those games were awesome. But no, they're not. Bummer.
Moving on.
Yep.
All right, so the next one on my list is another game that's on your list. It's Crash Bandicoot 2. What was that sound that you did?
That is not on my list. I am not a Crash Bandicoot fan. I understand what it done. It was neat and all, but I just never cared for him.
So, like, the reason why I put Crash Bandicoot 2 and not 1 or 3 is because I think it was a better game than 1. Like, it had a lot more to it. The 1 kind of felt like it was trying to be Donkey Kong Country because, like, the way how the map was, like, it very much reminded me of Donkey Kong Country. And 2 had, like, this, the overworld was, like, these portals that you walked into. So it was more similar, and not exactly like Super Mario 64, but it was more similar to Super Mario 64 than Crash Bandicoot 1 was. And like it just had like a lot better levels and gameplay features. But the reason why I did not put 3 on here, which I think that probably was the best game, I just didn't beat that game, so that's why I did not put it on my list of favorite games. So I'm not gonna put a game that I didn't finish in my list of favorite games,
Right.
So yeah, but Crash Bandicoot 2, I had a lot of fun with it. I remember like the boss fights in the Crash Bandicoot games are just really fun. Like they're all really unique, and like especially in 3. Like some of the boss fights completely changed the game mechanics. Like one of them basically turned the game into like Star Fox 64, and I felt like Crash Bandicoot 3 like try to basically compete with a bunch of 64 games, like just on its own. So yeah, but I just really like Crash Bandicoot, and yeah, it's on my list. Crash Bandicoot number 2. How about you, Adam? What's the next game on your list?
Next game on my list is it's another weird one. Command and Conquer Red Alert. It was my introduction to the Command and Conquer series. And I really liked it on PlayStation. And then I finally, because I've always been a console guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I finally got a computer that could actually run something. And then I got into the Command and Conquers, like right off the bat. I loved them. I mean, kind of like StarCraft. My introduction to StarCraft was 64. StarCraft 64 did not do it for me the way that Command and Conquer Red Alert on the PlayStation did. I mean, I remember playing that game with Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and just having a ball with it, But, yeah. Like I said, it's not going to be on everybody's list, but it's on mine. It has a special place in my heart because it led me to the Command and Conquer series. I never played a Civilization on any console. I look back and I'm like, man, there's a bunch of Civilizations on consoles. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's crazy. But, yep. That's just move on.
All right.
You ain't got anything to say about it.
Yeah, I don't have.
like I said, it's my list.
I know, like by the time they got to like the Xbox 360, the Command and Conquers actually played pretty well.
Yeah, but I remember because I couldn't compare it to anything. I liked playing it on PlayStation. I probably wouldn't like it now. I've still got it, so I could try, but no, not gonna happen. I've got it on PC. But yeah, it got a special place for me anyway.
Next game on my list, like back then, like when I was in like junior high and high school, I was really into fighting games, and there's quite a few pretty cool fighting games on the PlayStation, and I think like the king of fighting games for the PlayStation 1 was Tekken 3. I think like if you look at the entire like Tekken franchise, and I think Tekken 3 is the earliest game that's still playable in that entire franchise.
Right.
If you go back and play Tekken 1 or 2 right now, you're going to be like, this is junk. Which, I mean, like, they were cool back then. They were cool when there's, like, when those were the newest games at the time. But, like, as far as, like, playability, like, they are just slow and clunky. And when you jump, you basically float like you're on the moon. And it was trash. I mean, it's trash now, but back then it was awesome. But like Tekken 3 just made the games a lot faster. If you don't jump all floaty and everything. Had a huge lineup of characters. Had a bunch of different modes. Like it had Tekken Volleyball. It had Tekken Force mode, which was like it was like Final Fight where you're like just walking down the street.
Side scroller.
Yeah, side scroller.
Yeah, it was awesome. That's why it was on
chicken to gain health. Had like some really crazy and wacky ending cutscenes. Man, I spent so much time playing this game, mainly because for the longest time I didn't have a memory card. So I would like just play it just to unlock the characters that I want to play. You know, like I'd rush through the arcade mode multiple times just to unlock characters, and then yeah.
See, and hold on, before you move on from, don't get too far ahead of yourself. Again, with the younger audiences, if they're listening, memory cards.
Memory cards.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh
man.
Yeah.
Memory cards.
Yeah, memory cards. My Goldberg. Hold on a second. Let me get this. Bam. Memory card.
Did you just put that next to you for this podcast?
No, it's sitting up on my shelf with everything else, all my systems and all that. I was just like, hey, look, there's a Goldberg memory card.
I know exactly where my memory card is at. It's it's in the living room though, so I'm not gonna go grab it. It's my box of PlayStation stuff in the living room, but yeah. Like I mean, I don't even have a PlayStation anymore, but I still have my PlayStation memory card. Well, actually, it's a PlayStation 2 memory card, but it still took PlayStation 1 game saves. And there you are, like with Goldberg on the corner of your camera.
Yeah, Yep. Oh, that's a collector's edition too.
Man.
I'll look and see how much I can get for that.
It's probably worth more because of your game saves on there.
Probably.
But yeah, I mean, Tekken 3 was just a solid game, and probably the best fighting game on the PlayStation 1. So moving on.
Yep. Another one, it's on my list, maybe not for the same reasons as everybody else. It's where I originally got introduced to the Grandia series. Grandia 1. I played it. It was my dad's girlfriend's son's game, and when I'd go there on the weekends, I'd play it. And I remember really liking it. They had a PlayStation. I had a Dreamcast. Or something like that. I can't remember exactly how it was. And then I go to a game store and I see Grandia 2, and I'm like, hey, there's the sequel to that one game. And, Grandia 2 is my second favorite Dreamcast game. I mean,
first being
Shenmue.
Sega, huh? Oh, I thought it was going to be Sega Bass Fishing.
No, that's number 4. Number 3 is Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Okay.
This isn't the Dreamcast list. There's my top 4.
All right, but Grandia.
Yeah, I mean, just the way that I don't even remember what I loved about that game, but I remember loving it, if that makes any sense at all. And then, like I said, my list is weird because I'm weird.
Hey, this is why the list is our favorite games, not the best.
Right. I mean,
for everybody.
The games, like I said, they hold a special place in my heart. It's like I'm Grandia 2. Once it got released on Steam, what I do, I bought it and I played it. I mean, that game is still amazing to me. It might not look the best, but games don't need to look top of the line to be amazing, and I still love that game. I will probably play through that game again this year.
Nice.
I just love those games, and I'm not the biggest JRPG guy. I would rather play Grandia 2 than play Final Fantasy whatever. It's just how I am.
All right, moving on.
Yep.
So The next two games are basically like tied for my favorite games for PlayStation. So I'll just go into the next one on my list, which is Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I feel like there's basically like two different types of Castlevania fans. They're the type that like the games before Symphony of the Night, which are like the Nintendo ones and Super Nintendo ones, which are like linear action platformer games. And then they're the fans that like the Symphony of the Night, the Metroidvania style.
Yeah.
That has more of a like exploration and backtracking to revisit areas that you weren't able to before, because now you can turn into mist and float through this grate, or now you have double jump so you can reach this area that you weren't able to before, etc. So I'm more of the Metroidvania fan. I was blown away by the gameplay, the
art in that game.
Yeah, the art looked great.
I remember thinking it just looked amazing. I didn't play it until much later, though.
The atmosphere, I love the sense of like progression, the upgrading your character and being able to revisit an area, and it's like, oh, I saw that ledge earlier and that bothered me so much that I couldn't get there. Now I can finally get there. And like, it just had a lot of really cool things going on with it. Like, you start off the game with some of the best equipment. I mean, not the best equipment, but some of the best equipment in the game. And you're doing that for like just a short while, like a few minutes, and it's set up similar to your other Castlevania games where it's linear. And then you meet Death, the Grim Reaper, and then he's like, screw you, Alucard, I'm not gonna let you mess with Dracula. I'm gonna take all your stuff away. So then you lose all of your all of your equipment, and you just have your fists. And like, it's just I just love how they do that. Oh, even before that, like before you even do that, you play as Richter Belmont before you play as Alucard, and it's basically you're playing the last boss fight of the previous game.
Right.
So you're playing as Richter Belmont, fully upgraded. You fight Dracula, and I'm pretty sure you cannot lose that fight. It's impossible to lose that fight. But it's just a really cool experience where they set up the game where it's like, okay, here's the last level of the last game. You beat Dracula, and now it's setting up for this new game. So there's just so many great things to say about Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and I think it's still playable today. It's still a really great Metroidvania game. Whenever those style games come out, I usually check them out. Like the Strider game that came out a few years ago.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Outland. That was also a really cool game. Shadow Complex. I really love those type of games, and I feel like Castlevania Symphony of the Night still holds up. So yeah, you said you didn't really play too much of it.
No, I played it later.
Oh, okay.
Much later. But yeah, I remember at the time, seeing stuff in like magazines and stuff like that. I'm like, man, that game looks awesome.
It even had like multiple endings. Like, you can beat the game wrong and you wouldn't even know that. Like, it's like, whoa, that was kind of a not satisfying ending. Because like when you get to like halfway through the game, when you're at the end of Dracula's castle, you fight a mind-controlled Richter Belmont, and if you do not equip like these special glasses to see that he's being mind-controlled by a Dracula worshiper dude, then you can't. You basically fight Richter, defeat him, and then you get a bad ending. If you equip those glasses, then you can see the guy that's mind controlling him, and you hit that guy instead of Richter, and then that will unlock the second half of the game, like another castle, an inverted castle comes down from the sky, and then that's where you fight Dracula. So, I mean, there's just so much awesome things about this game.
Right.
So, I'll let you.
Back a couple from mine, and I didn't have any.
Oh, you didn't have any like backups?
No.
So, other than the Twisted Metal, which ones? Was it just Twisted Metal that I jacked?
Twisted Metal and Tekken.
Ah, okay. I didn't know Tekken was on your list.
Yeah, Tekken was on my list.
All right, so you don't have anything else?
No, but I'm pretty sure I can guess what your last game is.
What's the last game?
Metal Gear.
Yes.
I'm that
love
good.
Metal Gear. I love Metal Gear. It was impressive. Like the only like complaint I had about the game back when it came out was it took me like, without counting the cutscene time, it took 7 hours to beat the game, which back then was very short.
Right.
Nowadays, that's what you expect out of a game. You want like a solid 7-hour experience.
Yeah.
But times have changed. Like I could not buy as many games back then, so I expect to play a game for so many hours. But I mean, other than the length of the game being short, like the game is just impressive. Like, it looked great. The models looked really good. I mean, yeah, the faces didn't even have eyes, but like, it was really good looking for that time. And the fact that like all the dialogue was voice acted was extremely impressive.
Right.
I loved the story. It was very compelling. The bosses were great characters, and like everyone was a really unique boss fight experience. Just overall awesome game. I really like the different mechanics as far as like utilizing stealth, getting the stealth camouflage equipment was really fun. And it was after I beat the game and I get either the stealth camouflage or the bandana that gives infinite ammo. It's just fun messing around with the enemies. It's like, oh, these enemies are patrolling back and forth, and I'm invisible, and I'm just going to run right through them. They're like, huh? What just happened? And the fact that the game had multiple endings, had 2 different endings, that was also just really cool. So overall, it was just an awesome game.
I think I played about, 5 minutes of it. I just either never gave it a chance, or it just didn't. I don't know. I wasn't.
You just don't like stealth,
and I hate stealth. There is no. I don't like stealth. No. That is not a strong enough word. I hate stealth.
I just want to mention real quick for the younger audience, like Metal Gear Solid, while it did not invent the stealth genre, like there are stealth games since like the 80s. Metal Gear Solid, Tenchu, Stealth Assassins, and Thief all came out in 1998, the same year, and they basically made stealth into a viable genre. And like before 1998, stealth wasn't really a thing. Like there was just a few stealth games, and it just wasn't a good mechanic. But that year, those 3 games came out, and they made stealth work. I know you, Adam. You're like, there's no such thing as stealth that works, but
no, there is. I understand, and I respect, but it's not for me.
Okay.
I
mean, like stealth has also gotten better since then. Like Mark of the Ninja, it does so many things to make stealth more accessible. You played Mark of the Ninja, right?
Yeah, and I played a couple hours of it, and I'm just like, I can't do it anymore. You can be the ninjas in the trees, hiding and waiting, and I'm just like the barbarian with the battle axe.
Me smash.
Me smash.
Stealth? Does that mean smash?
I mean, it's not for me. I don't have the patience for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't.
Understandable. I mean, not every game is for every person.
Right. I mean, I talk smack about stealth games, but like I said, I understand that they're not for me, and I respect that they're not for me. So I don't judge.
But yeah, Metal Gear Solid tied for first place for my top 5 games.
Yeah, I knew
that in
2.
Pennsylvania. Yeah. But so listeners, what are some of your favorite PlayStation 1 games? You can write into podcast@outofcontinues.com. Let us know. Do you have a top 5 list? Do you have a top 3 list? Do you have just a top 1 at least? Let us know. Podcast@outofcontinues.com. Email us, and we'll read on next week's podcast. So, we got that done. Let's move on. And one thing that I probably would have had on my top PlayStation games if it was a PlayStation game. Nothing. Did the internet freeze? You're kind of like just hello.
Nope. I have no clue, Staffa. What would you have on your list if it was a PlayStation game?
I would have DreamHost on my list if it was a PlayStation game.
Oh, really? What would DreamHost be about?
It would be a web service that offers unlimited storage, unlimited bandwidth, user-friendly interface, and they're also optimized to use content managers such as WordPress and many more features. All that just for $8.95 a month. But if you use the promo code OutOfContinues, that's one word, no spaces, it'll waive away the setup fee, get your free domain registration. So that would kind of be difficult to pull off as a PlayStation game, but it'd be a pretty sweet one.
Yeah, that sounds like it'd be a pretty sweet one.
All right. Real quick, iTunes, we can use some more iTunes reviews. If you want to help out the podcast, one of the single most helpful things you can do for the podcast is to leave an iTunes review. Basically, Apple goes by a week-by-week basis as far as placing. They place podcasts on their top charts according to how many reviews they get on a week-by-week basis. And if a podcast gets no reviews at all, then or no reviews that week, it's as if they got no reviews at all, period. So, if you want to help us out, please leave a review. If you cannot leave a review for whatever reason, then you can also help us out by sharing the podcast on social media, such as, I was about to say LinkedIn. No, don't share Out of Continues on LinkedIn. Share it on Facebook or Twitter or Reddit or, whatever else you want to share it on. Also, we're on Google Music Play. You can subscribe to us there, leave a review there. Check us out on Google Play Music, if that's something that you use. So check us out. Check us out there. Also, some unfortunate news. The Out of Capes podcast is no longer. Basically, I was doing the podcast with Eric, in which we were reviewing the Flash and Arrow, and then it was just the Flash, and then we did the Flash and DC Legends of Tomorrow, and then just the Flash, and now we're not doing it anymore. It's just the shows have gotten really bad for one thing, and also our scheduling is getting pretty difficult for us to find time in which we both, when we both have free time to record. So, because of that, we decided to, close down the podcast. So for those of you that joined us as we complained about how Flash was getting worse and worse each week, then thanks for joining us. But other than that, we're just not going to do that podcast anymore, unfortunately. So let's get on to the news. Where is my news window? There it is. Let me screen share that. Boom. All right. So first news topic I have on here is quite interesting. So Halo 5, the Forge mode for Halo 5, for those of you who are not aware of what this mode is, Forge mode is basically like a level editor. Well, from what I understand, it's not exactly a level editor, but it's like you take the levels and you can change the layout of the weapon drops, or like the flag for capture the flag, or the placement of things, and you can make different modes and stuff like that for these levels. So basically, I don't know if eventually it changed to become more like a level editor. I don't think so, but either way, it's a way to make more replay value for the game. So the Forge mode for Halo 5 is going to be available later this year on Windows 10 for free, and on PC, and it's going to be usable with keyboard and mouse. It's going to support 4K resolution, and I think that's actually really cool that they're providing this for free on Windows 10. And it also says that they're going to be updating it with featuring new overhaul tools and controls, and so they're saying just the Forge mode itself will be on Windows 10. It's not going to be all of Halo 5. If anything, this might mean Halo 5 will eventually come to Windows 10. I'm not saying it's like an official announcement, though.
Right.
But it does open up the possibility. Also, what was I about to say? Oh yeah. So they're not having matchmaking for the PC Forge mode. They will allow for custom games, though, so to allow players to test out their levels. So basically, if you want to test out your level, you need to have friends.
But I don't have any friends.
Then too bad, so sad.
I am sad.
Yep. I think basically, I think that there's going to be some communities that will form on Reddit or whatever.
Right.
And it's going to be like, hey, this is going to be the Halo 5 PC Forge mode subreddit, something like that. And I'm pretty sure they'll be like, hey, I got my level that I made. I need people to test this out with me. Who wants to do this Friday night at 6, Eastern time, something like that.
I wish they'd stop banging outside.
Yeah, I hear that banging.
Or they can continue to bang right outside my window.
Why is people banging on your window?
I have no clue. They're not banging on the window. They're banging outside the window.
Okay.
Probably working on a car because that's what they do.
But yeah, I mean, like overall, I think this is actually a really cool announcement, and yeah, I mean, I'll definitely check this out because I will have Windows 10 again by the time this comes out because I'll be forced to upgrade. I'm pretty sure. When is the upgrade date? I think the expiration date for the upgrade is either in June or July. I have it marked on my calendar, so it's pretty soon.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I will upgrade because if I don't, then I won't be able to get the upgrade.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, do you have any thoughts on this?
Not really. I've never messed with Forge mode, so I mean, I think it's neat, and Microsoft seems like they're going more towards doing stuff on PC.
Mm-hmm.
On banging, please stop.
Quit banging, you whippersnappers.
Anyway, I
All
think
right.
they're gonna stop, so we need to hurry up and go.
So let me pause this for autoplays. All right, there we go. So, speaking of level creation and tools to create game content, Microsoft is shutting down Project Spark. And I think this is quite unfortunate. Like Project Spark had a lot of potential. They just did not do much to market it.
No.
I tried it out and it was actually really cool. It was very easy to use. It had a lot of cool things going on with it. They were doing a lot of cool things with adding the Conquer levels, and eventually they made like all the content available for free. And that was like a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like, well, we're shutting it down. It is now pulled from the App Store, the Windows App Store, and you can still use it until use the service until August. But then in August, the servers will be shut down. You cannot upload or you can't upload any more like content at this point. So I think that's really unfortunate. Like I feel like this is a ball that they dropped. They had the ball. It was a pretty good ball. They just did nothing with it and dropped it.
Yeah, I mean, when I went to PAX with James, we went to the Project Spark booth, and I mean, it was neat. I have it on my Xbone.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's super unfortunate. Neat, real neat. It seemed very versatile. You know what I mean?
Very easy to use.
Very extremely easy to use.
And very powerful too. Like you could do a lot with it.
Goodness, shut up. Oh, it's getting louder. Oh, goodness. Okay.
All right, let's move on.
Yes, please.
All right. So let's talk about another one of these game companies, Nintendo. So, this big article doesn't really say much. Basically what they say is that Nintendo is the Nintendo NX, which is the code name for the new platform that Nintendo will go into more detail during E3. So the NX, they say, will have a larger impact than the Wii U, which
not a smaller one.
That's not really hard to do. But on top of that, they also say that it represents a new method of play, which when I saw that, I wanted to be like, no, Darth Vader style. So So they say it's a new way of playing games, which I think will have a larger impact than the Wii U, but don't feel it's a pure replacement for the Wii U. So I Nintendo needs to stop coming up with new ways to play the games.
Mm-hmm.
The gamepad works. Your conventional gamepad works. We do not need a new way to play games. I mean, like, touchscreen works on mobile devices because it's a mobile device. That's what a mobile device the primary input feature of a mobile device is a touchscreen. So, you don't need to implement that into your home console or whatever. And motion like is not needed either. Like, unless you're doing VR, get that out of here. Just stick with a gamepad. That's all you need to do. But no, Nintendo doesn't want to do that. They don't want to stick with a gamepad. They want to venture off and do weird things. They want to move in 4 dimensions. Yep, they want to have a gimmick. They want to make their console, or at least the gamepad controller, unnecessarily expensive by adding these hardware gimmicks, which you don't need. Just make solid games. And like one thing Nintendo hasn't been doing with these gimmicks is proving why we need these gimmicks. Like, they didn't. They had like Wii Sports and some other Wii games that utilize the motion controls, but like overall, they did not prove that's something that we need. That's why they moved away from it. And they, with the Wii U, they had some games like Mario Maker and Splatoon that utilize the touchpad, but overall they did not prove that it's something that we need. So like they're just coming up like with these random expensive gamepads for no reason, and they're not proving why we need these expensive gamepads. Get them out of my face. It's just really disappointing.
It's Nintendo.
Yep. Also, this article mentions that the NX is scheduled to come out by spring of next year.
Yeah. Whatever.
So, all right. It doesn't sound like you have much else to add.
It's Nintendo, and make a bigger impact than Wii U.
Yeah.
How can you have a smaller one?
They just, I think I just heard them say challenge accepted.
Well.
They're going to try to have a smaller impact.
Well, guess who's not going to lose any sleep over that? Me.
All right. Nintendo is getting into movie making.
That's exactly what they need to do.
We want our sequel to Super Mario Bros. Movie. I mean, that movie ended with a cliffhanger. We need to know what happens next.
Yeah.
But yeah, on a serious note, this sounds like they're still upset over Super Mario Bros. Movie from 1993, which was basically the very first video game movie.
Yeah.
Like, it was the first movie based on an actual video game. There were movies that were video game themed, like War Games and Tron and The Last Starfighter. Those 80s movies that were themed like video games, but like this was the first actual one. If I recall correctly, this was the first one that was actually based off of an existing video game franchise.
And boy, did it set the bar super high.
Dude, that movie was amazing.
Yeah, sure it was.
It was amazing.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, man. But
How bad does that hurt? Saying that movie was amazing,
it was amazing. It was amazing in its own right.
amazingly bad.
It was a work of art.
Yeah, it was definitely a work of art.
It's the citizen game of video games.
Oh God, get out of here! You're fired.
So anyways, you know, they're pretty upset about how that turned out, which I mean, like, that was 1993.
Yeah,
It's been a while ago. You know, things have
a
changed.
while. Only
Yeah.
a while.
Yeah, things have changed. I mean, like, look at Wreck-It Ralph,
Right.
which is probably the best video game movie that's it's not even based on a real video game.
Right.
But yeah, so it sounds like they want to get into movie making, and they want to actually have more in hand of the production, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because like when things like this happen, you know, where the creator wants more control over it, it leads to the studio that's actually producing, you know, whatever it is, the movie or the game or whatever, to have more restraints. But I don't know. I mean, like, it can be a good thing because they wanted to keep it more true to, you know, like, let's say a Mario movie comes out, it's going to be more true to Mario.
Right.
Or it can also be a nightmare for whoever's producing it because there's just so many restraints.
My
I mean,
guess
like,
is it's going to be a nightmare no matter what.
yeah. I mean, like, even with like Wreck-It Ralph, it was really tough for them to make that movie because of all the restraints they were given from all the different companies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the different licensees,
Yeah. Like
licensors.
like they were only like they weren't allowed to have, you know, Sonic do this. They weren't allowed to have Mario do that. You know, they had to have like very specific things where those characters were used.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, like, they might make the first good video game movies. I mean, like, it's kind of sad that video game movies are so bad that right now people are saying, hey, the Angry Birds movie is probably the best video game movie right now.
That is pretty bad.
Yeah. Angry Birds.
Yeah.
But
Kenny went to see that yesterday.
oh, really? What do you think about it?
I haven't asked him. I will ask him on the podcast. I will text him and see if he responds.
From the reviews I've heard, like, the first 2/3 of the movie is all right, you know, for like a kids animated movie, but then the last third of the movie it felt like it was really rushed because they're like, okay, let's introduce the pigs, who are basically like the minions from Despicable Me, and let's get the gameplay into this movie. Let's have them slingshot the birds into the pigs.
Right.
You know, that's pretty much how the last third of the movie is described as. So
he said the kids liked it, so that's all that matters, really.
Yeah. All right. So moving on.
Yeah.
Let's talk about more video game movies.
Oh, I don't even want to talk about this.
Tetris movie. They got the producer for the Mortal Kombat movie. They say that it'll be an epic sci-fi thriller, and it has a $80 million budget. Bam.
So, don't even talk about it. I'm gonna sit this one out.
You're gonna sit this one out. So yeah. basically, yeah, the fact that they say that's gonna be. Let's get some quotes in here. Let's get some quotes. All right, Tetris, one of the most recognizable video game franchises of all time, is a perfect first project for this strategy. For our debut project, Threshold Global Studios will bring one of the most beloved cross-generational gaming brands in the world to the big screen as an epic sci-fi thriller. Excuse me. Today, there are so many great sources on which to build a movie blockbuster, and video gaming is certainly an amazing category with its huge international following. So to have this legacy brand, Tetris, is a great first project for us with Larry, who knows his way around this landscape. So the executive producer, Dane. Okay, whatever. Either way, so the fact that they say it's gonna be an epic sci-fi thriller, the blocks are basically gonna be spaceships or alien ships coming down to Earth. That's it.
That makes me so mad. It's so stupid. So stupid.
Yeah.
It's Tetris.
Yeah. Tetris has no story. Don't give it one. It doesn't need a story. It didn't need a story.
Why would they go out of their way to make a Tetris movie when they're trying? I mean, are they trying to make a bad video game movie? Because that's exactly what this is going to be. It's going to be terrible. Terrible.
Pixels. Adam
Pixels.
Sandler's Pixels.
Pixels is probably going to turn out better than this.
Maybe.
Or this is going to turn out worse than Pixels.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's stupid. Epic sci-fi thriller. Get out of my face. I'm done talking about it.
But let's move on. So Assassin's Creed, another epic sci-fi thriller. So Assassin's Creed movie, they say it's going to be 65% present day, 35% in the past, which that's like the wrong ratio if you want to represent the game.
Yeah, because, well, nowadays it's like 100% in the past and whatever. It's
even the earlier games were like 5% present day.
Right.
It's like the complete wrong ratio.
Well, see, the thing is, they can do modern day because, they can just go on location. They don't have to build the sets.
Like to me, I'm assuming it's gonna be a lot of build up and exposition.
Yeah, I'm not holding my breath for this video game movie either.
And they also say it's gonna have 2 sequels.
Yeah, imagine that. And then the sequels will have sequels.
Yep, you gotta sign into Uplay when you walk into the theater.
Yep. Hey, as long as you can get your Uplay points, I'm fine.
But the filmmaker, he wants you to know that this is gonna be the first great video game movie.
Yep, sure.
So basically, someone tweeted saying, "Can we all agree that movies based on video games have never will work?" What? That is not English. Can we all agree that movies based on video games have and never will work? Okay, all right. I read that better the second time.
Yes, you did.
So, who is this guy? He is the Ubisoft's. It doesn't say exactly who. Oh, head of
content for the Assassin's Creed brand.
Okay, the head of content for Assassin's Creed brand. I don't even want to try, but this dude, he replies, "Nope, we can't. There is always a first, like comic book adaptation. Assassin's Creed will be that one. Mark my words, pal." Winky face. So maybe you should hold your breath, Adam, because he tells you to mark his words.
Nope, not gonna happen.
No.
Nope. I'm not holding my breath.
Marvel became Marvel once they started creating their own movies. No, the Marvel was Marvel way before. Well, if you talk about their movies, then sure. All right. I think the way to do video game movies is, number one, have filmmakers that are passionate about them and know them. They're fans. They're not just looking at it as a job. And also have developers and publishers involved. But they don't even have the original developer with
Right.
for Assassin's Creed anymore.
Right.
I don't know. We're moving on.
Yep. Good.
So the last video game related thing I want to talk about before we kind of change directions is this Family Guy scene. So I'm not going to show it because that will only get the channel shut down again.
Right.
But basically, so a couple weeks ago on the newest episode of Family Guy, they were playing Nintendo's Double Dribble, and they're showing off a glitch in which if you go to the corner of the court, then you always make a three-pointer. And if like a certain spot from halfway down the court, you have like an 80% chance of making it. So basically, this guy switched with a 1 instead of an I on YouTube. Made this video in 2009. And his basically what happened was Fox took that video and they used it in Family Guy. It was either they used it in Family Guy or they recreated it exactly, which
Right.
is very doubtable.
Yeah.
I highly doubt that they recreated it, like, you know.
Why would they go out of their way to do that?
Yeah. So they probably just took the video itself, you know, removed the audio and added, like, you know, Peter Griffin and what's his name? Cleveland. Peter Griffin and Cleveland talking. And you know, so basically they stole the video, and the original one, you know, posted up by Switched, got pulled down because of DMCA copyright claim. Now,
that's
yeah. I don't really need to say much else about that. It's pretty self-explanatory how messed up this is. That you know, the original video gets pulled by Fox for copyright claim, even though Fox stole it from him.
right.
So yeah, apparently they uploaded a mirror on Dailymotion to prove that you know, that video was actually the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, so let's see. There's some updates. The folks at takedownabuse.org are featuring the story in a petition. Update 2, the video has now been restored. Okay, so it's back now. Update 3, a Fox spokesperson sent the following comment. The video in question was removed as a result of Fox's routine effort to protect its television show Family Guy from piracy. As soon as we became aware of the circumstances, the content was restored. Ha! Update 4. YouTube user Hamza informs Torrent Freak that a clip he recorded of the game Tecmo Bowl was also used in the same Family Guy episode. It too was taken down and later restored. Wow. Oh man, this is beautiful.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah. You know, I'll take this opportunity to also kind of go into more depth on what I mentioned on last week's episode, which I kind of rushed through because I really had to use the bathroom. So I was trying to wrap up the show as quickly as possible. But a couple weeks ago, one of my videos got a copyright claim. It wasn't a DMCA claim, so it wasn't like the video got pulled down or anything, but it was just a copyright claim on the music because it was basically the intro music for a game that I have gameplay video footage of, Scott in Space, that was sent to me by Black Shell Media. So they sent me this game, and I didn't do the gameplay video. It was Brian Trusty, who has been on the podcast before. He did the video for me and uploaded it on my channel. And so I got a copyright claim on this because basically robots. Yeah. So it was an automated thing that the licensor detected the music, and so I contacted Black Shell Media, who then contacted, who put me in contact with the developer of Scott in Space. Let me get his name real quick. This one. So. Scott in Space. Yeah, Dominic from Rajiva Games. So, yeah, Dominic helped me out. He contacted the licensor and pretty much got the copyright claim removed. He was like, hey, sorry about this. It shouldn't have happened in the first place. So here's a few more keys for Scott in Space. Do whatever you want with them. So Adam over here did a Steam giveaway.
Yep.
And it's over by now, right?
Yeah, it ended last week, I think.
All right. So yeah, basically gave away some of those games, and I just want to give a shout out to Dominic from Rajiva Games for being just an awesome guy, helping me out really quick, and sending me the extra keys. So Scott in Space is a 2D platformer, and I think it's like 50 cents right now, something like that.
It was really cheap.
Yeah, it's like, if it's not still on sale, let's look at this real quick. Go to the store. Scott in Space. Oh no, it's no longer on sale.
$4.99.
Either way, yeah. Either way, like, he was a really cool guy, and I just want to give him a shout out. I was trying to give him a shout out last week, but the toilet was shouting at me even louder. So let's move on.
Classy.
Yep. Let's move on. Going into comic territory at this point. So basically, DC is working on a Harley Quinn solo movie at this point. And Suicide Squad is not even out yet, and that's going to feature Harley Quinn. And they're already working on a solo movie for Harley Quinn, even though like they don't know how well the audience is going to react to this actress. I don't know much about her. Apparently I've heard that she's a pretty good actress, but from what I've seen in the trailers, I did not find any of her lines funny at all.
Right.
That's from the trailers, at least. But they're already working on a solo movie for her at this point. And this is like the complete opposite of what Marvel did. They did solo movies first to build up the universe, and then they're like, all right, let's put them together. Nope, that's not what DC wants to do. DC says, screw that. Throw all of our characters together, and whether they work or they don't, we're going to make solo movies for each of them.
Yep.
This article also mentions that there's going to be they're also featuring other female heroes and villains that are being considered. This article mentions probably Batgirl and the Birds of Prey might be in this movie. I'm going to say it's a safe bet that Poison Ivy will be in this movie.
Right.
100% confirmed. You heard it here first. Poison Ivy. Because for those of you who don't know, Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn have been friends in the comic scene for a long time, and very recently they have become more than just friends. So I'm very certain Poison Ivy will be in the movie. So move on. Speaking of DC,
Yay.
Batman vs. Superman, which was a hit as far as how much money they made, but a critical failure as far as the reviews. They, as a result of the critical reviews, they decided that they're going to make a new division that is going to be led by John Berg and Jeff Johns. I'm not too familiar with John Berg, but I know Jeff Johns is a very big DC writer. And they're going to be overseeing the production and the creative direction of these movies. So that basically it's going to be these two guys' job to make sure that the movies line up with each other. And this compares their role to Kevin Feige of Marvel, who has been basically in the role of, putting everything together with Marvel's movies.
That guy's a genius.
I mean, like Kevin Feige is the guy who, went out of his way to make deals with Sony to get Spider-Man.
Oh, well, yeah, that guy's a genius.
And apparently he is doing something with Fox right now. So possibility of Fantastic Four or maybe even X-Men.
Well, you'd think that Fox wants to get rid of the dumpster fire that is Fantastic Four, which if you want to watch Fantastic Four, it's on HBO Go, Stoppa.
No, thank you.
Go ahead.
I got better things to do with my time.
Go ahead and watch it. It's terrible.
I got better things to do with my time. But yeah, so they're finally deciding that now is the time to have some creative leads for all of the movies.
Oh well, better late than never.
Yeah. Let's see if this changes things up.
Well, I mean, this is probably 2 years away from seeing anything.
Yeah, probably. I mean, because they already have Suicide Squad that's basically done.
Right.
That's coming out later this year, and Wonder Woman that's already in production.
Didn't they start Aquaman as well?
Probably. So I don't think they're gonna have much effect on Wonder Woman, and definitely not Suicide Squad.
Right.
But maybe the other stuff. Yeah. So last thing on DC. No autoplay? Okay, no autoplay. All right. Just want to make sure the video doesn't play on its own for those of you listening. So this past week, it was announced that Supergirl, no longer with CBS, she's going to be joining CW. And then CW announced that they're going to have a, quote, mega crossover, end quote, in which, it's going to have the Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, and the Legends of Tomorrow all together. And I'll just say this. So far, the crossover episodes have been the worst episodes. I did watch the Supergirl Flash crossover, which I did not. The only other episode of Supergirl I watched was the first one, which I didn't really care for too much, and it was okay. The Supergirl Flash crossover, but with them like announcing, "Hey, we're gonna have all these characters together," that just means it's gonna be a train wreck.
Yep.
The last crossover between Flash and Arrow also introduced a few of the Legends of Tomorrow characters, which were Hawkman and Hawkgirl.
Mm-hmm.
It had so many characters in those 2 episodes that most of the characters did absolutely nothing.
Right.
They did a very poor job balancing all the characters. And now with them saying, "Hey, we're going to have the rest of the Legends of Tomorrow as well as Supergirl in this mega crossover," it just sounds like a big mess. I'm only going to assume that it's going to be first of all, I'm going to assume that it's going to be within all 4 of those shows. So, like, part 1 will be Supergirl probably because that's on Monday. And then part 2 will be Flash because that's Tuesday. Part 3 will be Arrow because that's Wednesday. And then part 4 will be Legends of Tomorrow because that's Thursday. So that's how I'm gonna assume it's gonna be like a 4-part episode, and you're going to have to keep up with all 4 of those shows to understand what's going on.
Right.
Like I was not keeping up with Arrow with this last crossover, and I'm like, okay, all these people are different now. Whatever. I don't know. Like I just think this is going to be a huge mess, and they're I don't know why people are so excited when so far every single crossover episode has been like a big mess.
Well, people are
goobers.
People.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's move on to something that's going to be awesome.
Yep.
So, rumors.
Yeah.
Rumors. That Netflix is working on a series for Blade, Ghost Rider, and Moon Knight. And that is pretty awesome. I mean, this will basically be like phase 2 Netflix Marvel universe.
Right.
Because I mean they already have, Daredevil season 1, Jessica Jones, and Daredevil season 2, and later this year Luke Cage, and then next year Iron Fist, and then I think they're already working on like Jessica Jones season 2.
Yeah.
And after that they're going to do a Defender series. Also they announced Punisher.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Punisher will be in the Defender series or after the Defender series. Probably in the Defender series because they already revealed the teaser for Punisher and they haven't really revealed the teaser for Defenders yet.
Yeah.
So, so they are like, they haven't announced anything yet, but there is some rumors that they are in talks in making Blade, Ghost Rider, and Moon Knight, 3 different series. And I'm not sure if Blade will have Wesley Snipes or not, because Wesley Snipes was in talks with Marvel, as far as reprising his role.
But he's getting, up there in age.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. Like, it would be interesting if they have Wesley Snipes as Blade.
Right.
Well,
I mean, they have Old Man Logan, so I guess you can have Old Man Blade.
He's a vampire, though. He can't age.
Yep.
Never
mind, Staffa.
What?
And he's half vampire.
But isn't Blade like
No,
wait,
no, he
he's not.
doesn't age as fast as you. Remember, he was his. Never mind. I'm not getting into Blade with you.
Triple H as a vampire.
Oh God, I'm done. Goodbye.
Ghost Rider, I can guarantee you it will not be
Oh, no, Nick Cage.
it will not be Nick Cage. Ghost Rider he's an interesting character.
Right.
He's a bit overpowered. I mean, doesn't he have like what was it, like the death stare or something like that?
I can't remember what all he has, dude.
Like basically he has like a death stare that like sends people to hell and back and kills them or something like that. I don't know. He's overpowered. Moon Knight though, I think out of these three, Moon Knight is the one I would be most excited for.
Right.
Because he's crazy. Like basically, imagine Batman, but instead of obsessed with bats, he's obsessed with moons. So like he has moonerangs and a moon jet and a moon on his chest instead of a bat. And he's crazy.
A Moon Knight.
Yep. Like he's like actually crazy. Like he dresses in all white just so people can see him better at night because he wants the bad guys to see him. And he's mentally ill. He has multiple personality disorder. So like I think that would be awesome with Netflix because they've been doing a really good job exploring these more adult themes, like with Jessica Jones with the PTSD,
right?
So yeah, I'd be really excited for that. So hopefully these things go through and they make an announcement soon.
Right.
But yeah, that is basically it as far as news. I'm gonna close this out. Stop screen share. Boom. Hello.
Boom.
How you guys doing?
Hello.
All right. So before we wrap this up, I want to do a quick surprise for Adam.
No,
I don't have any surprise for you. So listener feedback. We have no listener feedback this week, but if you want to be the listener feedback for next week, oh man, I'm getting like burps. Excuse me. Write in to podcast@outofcontinues.com. That's podcast@outofcontinues.com. Ask us your questions, comments, any type of feedback, whatever. Just write in. The few things to plug. Got the Twitch stream. That's twitch.tv/SayedStafa. That's SAYEDSTAFA. I need to get around to like doing some streaming, like maybe some Mad Max or something.
Yeah, play some Mad Max.
Yeah, Mad Max, Dark Souls, Metal Gear. I need to get around to Metal Gear again. Nothing else to plug. Let's wrap this up. If you enjoy what you've been hearing, you can support us by liking us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter. You can leave an iTunes review. Please leave an iTunes review. Leave a Google Play Music review as well. You can contact by email. That's podcast@outofcontinues.com. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/outofcontinues. All those things I mentioned, you can find them on the website. That's www.outofcontinues.com. You can give me a tweet. I am @SayedStafa. That's @SAYEDSTAFA. #HireStafa. Adam, you got Twitter?
Yep. I don't use it. @Iron Headbutt. IRONHEADBUTT.
All right. I'd like to thank my guest host for joining me today, Adam.
Thanks for having me, brah.
Thank you. And with that said, I'm your host, Stafa. We'll see you guys next week.